Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, from the ANA Inspiration, the first major of the year. On behalf of the Ladies European Tour and Solheim Cup Europe, thank you for being here today for one of the most exciting announcements in golf as we unveil the 2017 European Solheim Cup captain. It's my pleasure to introduce on stage to my immediate left, John Solheim, Chairman and CEO of Ping, and Ivan Kordabash, Ladies European Tour CEO. Shortly we'll be meeting the new European captain, who's one of the most decorated and experienced players in history. Not only did she earn 89 worldwide titles, including 10 major championships, she's been part of 11 Solheim Cups, 8 as a player and 3 as a vice captain. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together as we welcome to the stage the legend that is Annika Sorenstam. Okay. Congratulations, Annika. So, on behalf of the Ladies European Tour, Ivan would like to say a few words.
Well, we are absolutely thrilled from the Ladies European Tour side to have such a legend, such a player who had so much influence in the history of golf, in women's golf, to become the Solheim Cup captain. I had the opportunity to firsthand to see Annika on 2 occasions of being vice captain of the Solheim Cup, and I was amazed by her professionalism and how much she contributed to the team. She has had already 4 wins for the Solheim Cup, 2 as players and 2 as vice captain. And we are extremely thrilled to have her because we share very much the values she has in growing the game, inspiring juniors, young girls to come to the sport. These are exactly the same values of the Ladies European Tour, and we believe that the Solheim Cup is an amazing tournament which will enable us to inspire new generations of girls picking up these sports. So the unanimous decision of the selection committee was a thrilling experience for us, and I congratulate Annika for the captaincy.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you, Ivan. So the Solheim Cup is named after Carsten and Louise Solheim of Carsten Manufacturing Corporation, the parent company of Ping. Now we'll hear from the Chairman and CEO, John Solheim.
This is really great. Annika, congratulations. I'm looking forward to an exciting event in Des Moines. I think we're going to see a lot more strategy happening with the captains we have, especially you. And we're in for a real special event coming up. And you know, the challenge is going to be there, and it's going to be fun watching her work, you know, but it was also fun watching her shoot a 59 one time. So that was, we got the ultimate here. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Solheim, and for your contribution to women's golf and this amazing competition. So now we'll hear from our new captain, Annika. Please tell us how much you're looking forward to this challenging new role.
Well, first of all, thank you very much to the both gentlemen up here. I cannot tell you how excited I am. I had hoped and I have dreamed that this opportunity would come along. And, you know, if I look back in my career, the Solheim Cup has always been an important part of it. You know, we play as individuals for, 99% of the time, but when we do get together, it's just something special. So a lot of my memories in my career goes back to the Solheim Cup. And so when I stopped playing, I was hoping that I would continue to be able to be involved. And getting the chance to be a vice captain was really eye-opening. But I thought, one day when I'm ready, I would love to get this opportunity. And I felt like 2017 I would be ready. And luckily the tour, I got the support from the tour. So this is really going to be a lot of fun. Certainly a different role than I'm used to, but I'm really looking forward to getting to work and getting to know the players. And I mean, it's all about the competition. It's all about building memories, and that's really, I think, our goal is to grow the game through the Solheim Cup. It's already started really well, but we've got to continue to take advantage of the opportunity we have.
Yesterday in the ANA Inspiring Women in Sports Conference, you mentioned the Solheim Cup is one of your career highlights. Why is that?
It's just, it's hard to explain, but when you get together as a team, when you represent your country or your continent, there's just something a little extra than when you play in individual events. And, the memories that you build with your friends and playing in a match play coming down the stretch. I mean, I would never forget 2003 in Sweden, in Barsebäck, and Suzanne was my partner in the matches, and it was just so exciting. The atmosphere was so electrifying, and put everything aside. I mean, you stand there over that putt, and then Suzanne made her putt, and it's just something you share with your teammates. It's hard to reproduce in an individual event. So I think that's why I look at the Solheim Cup as being so special. And also, we only play every other year, so you really look forward to it. And I would say that most players will put, if they set up goals for the year, the Solheim Cup, making the team is probably one of the top few.
So you were 3 times a vice captain under Alison Nicholas, Liselott Neumann, and Karin Koch. What did you learn from that experience?
Well, I learned a lot. I mean, first I would say as a player, you really just go in there and you play. You really don't think what happens behind the scene. But being a vice captain, I really saw the hard work that they put in, the 2 years of preparation, and it's so much more than just, thinking about who's going to play with whom, et cetera. And so I really respect the captains. I really respect what they did. And I think that's when I realized that I wasn't ready for the job. You need to fully commit. You really need to get involved and get to know the players. So I saw it from the sideline, but then also I was intrigued by the opportunity. And I said, I would love to do this day when I'm ready.
What are your plans for the preparation of regaining the trophy from the United States team?
Well, this is so new already, but, of course I've started to think a little bit, but I think the most important now is to work with, the Ladies European Tour and put together a plan, who's going to do what, and kind of get familiarized with, what they want me to do. And I think the goal is, we know what the goal is. Now we're going to work backwards, and, how do we get there? And I just want to introduce myself to most of the players on the European Tour. They might have known I played there, but I haven't really said hi to everybody. So just kind of start that communication. I think that's the most important. And then I know we'll put a good plan together. And then, of course, we got to execute. That's the most important.
Yeah. So by now, I'm sure you've got plenty of questions for the new captain. If you do have a question, please raise your hand and use the microphone. Yeah, go ahead, Ron.
Annika, you and Julie were sort of at the peak of your games at the same time. Is that going to make a special intensity to this competition? You two guys went at each other in quite a few majors.
We have, but I respect Julie tremendously. I think she's done a lot for the game and certainly been a role model in so many ways. So, I look forward to working, with her and play against her as a team. That's what I think this tournament has just gotten to a different level the last few years. So, I'm just going to really just follow what my players wants to do, and then we do our best. But it's to be able to have Julie on the other side, it certainly makes it even more special.
Congratulations, Annika. As you know, the intensity of this has really ratcheted up the last couple of years, especially last year. As a captain, how do you strike a balance between the intensity of wanting to win and the sportsmanship that really came into focus last year?
That's a good question. Yeah, it was quite intense last year. I think, I've been part of a few intense Solheims, but I think that's kind of what makes the tournament the way it is. But our goals have always been to go in there and have a good time, play some good golf, and showcase the very best of women's golf. And I think that's going to continue. Nothing is going to change. But, when you get together and everybody's so passionate, everybody's so engaged, everybody's so, they just want to win. Sometimes it gets very emotional. So, but I think we're just going to keep reminding ourselves. We all learn from what has happened in the past, and we all grow and we mature, and hopefully you'll see that next time.
Golf is back in the Olympics for the first time in more than 100 years, and a lot of these golfers that haven't had maybe as much experience on teams will now get that opportunity to represent something much bigger than themselves. Are you going to be paying kind of close attention to the Olympians and how they perform with the Solheim Cup on your mind?
Yeah, I think, again, we have a few months to get ready for Des Moines next year, so there's a few things that will happen in the meantime. We start with, like you mentioned, the Olympics. I'll be there. I'll be covering the women's competition. I look forward to that. But I mean, I'll be start scouting players already tomorrow. Keeping an eye on them and getting to know them. But I think Olympics is a great way to grow the game of golf, and certainly go hand in hand with both the LET and the LPGA working together.
Annika, what was the lesson to be taken out of the Suzanne Pedersen, Allison Lee situation?
What should be taken out of it?
What was the lesson? There's some people who would argue that Suzanne did nothing wrong.
Yeah, well, I think we have talked about this enough, and I think we all learned a lesson. I mean, the players on both teams, I don't think anybody's really happy what happened. I think we moved on and focus on the positive. I think the U.S. team played very, very well on Sunday. I mean, it was exceptional. And unfortunately, that doesn't get talked about as much. I mean, they really won the last time. So, I like to move forward. I like to take the positive out of what happened in Germany for a lot of other reasons, and just focus on what we're going to do next.
Okay. So, Annika, next year's competition is at Des Moines in Iowa. What have you heard about the venue in this great golf market?
I've heard a lot of things. I've already seen the promotion. It seems like they're selling tickets like no other place. I know that's a big sport community. They're going to be very engaged in the event. I think it's going to be fantastic in many ways. I look forward to seeing the golf course and obviously getting familiarized a little bit with it. But I've only heard good things. I know they hosted some bigger, was it the senior PGA Championship? And I guess they sold out. So I would expect the same thing for next year.
In terms of the profile of the event, obviously it's grown massively, especially on social media. Last time, 1.5 billion impressions. Do you think it can get even bigger and better?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think that's what we all strive for. And if you look at the history of Solheim Cup, started in 1990 at Lake Nona, Florida, and where we are today, I don't know if the Solheims had that same vision. I know they've always dreamed big, but I don't think anybody would have thought they would happen so quickly and so big. So yeah, I mean, it's just getting better and better. A lot of young girls are following it, especially with the Junior Solheim Cup. I mean, it's the growth is there. So yeah, it's just heading for bigger and better things.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, Annika, you've played for a lot of captains and worked alongside a lot of captains. Is there anyone in particular that you really like their style, or that you might borrow something that someone did that you thought worked well?
You're right. I've seen a lot of different captaincy styles. I would say I would pick a little here and a little there. But I think the most important thing is you got to be you. You got to be who you are. I think keeping communication open is really important. I don't think anybody likes secrets and surprises. At least I didn't. So that's kind of my philosophy: is I'm going to be open. I'm going to be available. I want to hear what players want to do. And I mean, it's really all about them. My goal is to create an environment where they can play their best. It's all about creating memories, having fun. And I think when you're having fun, you play well, and that's just going to lead to better things. So, I can't really pick anybody, but I'm going to try and be me and be available.
Okay. Annika, you mentioned that the Ping Junior Solheim Cup is also growing, and you love giving back. What can you tell us about that competition and how much you enjoy giving back to juniors in particular?
I do. I mean, it might sound like a cliche, but I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for golf. I've been able to live my dream, and now I want to share it, and I want other young girls to be able to live their dream. And golf is really an amazing sport. It's a game that you can play all your life. So I feel like I have a responsibility to give back to the next generation. We want to share what the game of golf can bring. So by creating tournaments, junior tournaments especially, to get them started early, to get that spark or to inspire them, I think it's kind of the gift that we can give them. And you look at the game of golf, and it's just so many similarities to life. So why not give them the opportunity? So, I've got a lot of satisfaction out of being around these young kids, inspiring them and sharing my knowledge. And, it's rewarding. I mean, people always say, well, what do you do nowadays? How do you get your competitive drive? I say, it's fun to give back. I really enjoy that. So I'm going to continue to do that and inspire the next generation.
And you talked earlier about timing, how this is the perfect time for you to take the role. Why is that?
Well, my kids are now 6 and 5, and I feel like it's a little bit of more of a stable age. It's easier for me to go away and do some other things. I feel like I've been, vice captain 3 times. I don't know if there's a limit how many times you can be a vice captain, but I think it's enough. I think I've got enough experience, and I felt at 17, you know, I'm still involved in the game. I'm still, you know, in touch with some of the players, and you still want to be relevant. And I think that this was just a good time for me. I have the commitment. I'm ready to do it. And, you know, if you got to think of future Solheims, I mean, there's a lot of players on the European Tour that would love the opportunity. So, you know, I'm not going to push my luck to turn it down again. So it's just a lot of pieces fell together, and here I am.
And how will you juggle your time with all your business endeavors as well? How are you going to focus on this task?
I learned how to juggle. This is certainly a priority of mine, and I know that next year will be a lot busier than this year. But I also know I have a team. I mean, this is not just a one-man show. I mean, we're going to do this together. You know, I might be the face for the moment, but it's about the players, it's about the team, it's about the staff, and it's a joint effort, in my opinion. So, but I'm certainly going to make every effort to do what I can and do the best I can.
Annika, as captain, what are the traits that you have that maybe you hope are absorbed or you can pass on to your team?
Well, maybe that's a question for the players, but I think from my perspective is, you know, I obviously have the experience. I'm just a little bit competitive. You know, the focus I have, and that I care. You know, I hope that they see that I care. I've been involved since I stepped away. So hopefully I can share that with them. I can inspire them for them to reach their full potential and play their very best. And hopefully I have some knowledge to share if they want to know that, but just the experience, and, you know, just kind of, I know a little bit about match play, how to put pairings together, and so I'm just literally there to be a resource for them, but again, just make them feel comfortable and know that I support them and I trust them, and that we're going to do this together.
Okay. So past captains have reached out to, you know, other past captains to get some advice. Is that something you might be doing?
Yeah, I think that's a good approach. I mean, I have a few ideas, but I still feel like I have some time. I want to learn a little bit more. You know, I'm going to work with the team, and they're going to educate me a little bit what's going on the tour, because obviously I live here and I haven't played competitive for a few years. So, but yeah, I mean, I think you learn from other people. I mean, that's how, you know, I have role models in the business world. You learn from people that have been successful. So yeah, my plan is to reach out to some of the captains and just hear their thoughts. But I mean, there are other people out there that, you know, can probably offer some advice. So yeah, I have a few things up my sleeve.
Do you have any plans to reach out on the men's side, maybe to go to the Ryder Cup and talk to the men's captains at all?
I do have some plans. I hope they accept that. But I look forward to catching up with a few and just listening and learning. I mean, I think that's the best way. You gotta listen, and then see what works in our situation.
Have any past captains come to you for advice?
I'm sorry?
Has anyone come to you for advice in this regard?
Well, I mean, the last few years, I mean, I've had a lot of contact with players, a lot of contact with other captains, but it's always been kind of a joint, you know, venture, in my opinion. We have had discussions, you know, we share our thoughts, and, you know, it doesn't mean that one way is better than the other. You just have to kind of find what works, and I like that. I like the collaboration. I like to learn from others, and hopefully we come out with a great product.
Okay. Any more questions? Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today, and also thank you to ANA and the LPGA for hosting us. We're looking forward to seeing you all at Des Moines in Iowa for the Solheim Cup next year. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.